Well, this week, Price learns a valuable lesson about not going too far into enemy territories and getting surrounded on both sides because he gets spit roasted. Hello and welcome to Civil War in Hindsight. I'm Lieutenant Tommy. With me, as always, is Prospector Johnny. And Johnny, there's a little bit more good news this week, although it's still Union bullshit, but it's a little bit more good news. It's good. It's more good news.
Okay. You keep saying that.
Breaking the fourth wall.
And
after this week, there's going to be no more significant fighting in Missouri. So good news for Missouri.
So all right. So it is caveated good news. There's like it's good news, but like it's you got to look into the future before you can know it's good news.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. This week's going to open up, Johnny, on the 21st with Price's forces like mobilizing outside of Lexington as they are able to fight their way out of that original trap that they were in. They're kind of moving out of the Lexington area.
Yeah, you said they were backed up against a window and all that shit.
They're able to kind of get out-ish. Yeah. But the caveat, the spoiler, like it's not like, bear with me. General Thomas has raised an army against Hood's...
Bear with you? Oh, God.
No, not a bear with me, but like...
Be careful.
General Thomas, remember we talked about him like a month ago. He was supposed to take care of Hood. Well, he's finally built his army. And it's still just sitting there in Tennessee.
Oh.
This has freed Sherman up to like go back to Atlanta, though, so maybe he can start doing something.
Right, so there's
else.
that. Yeah, but what the fuck's Sherman going to do in Atlanta?
I don't know. See the fires that started like a month ago?
I don't know. I think Sherman's got to get the hell out of Atlanta soon.
At some point, start moving somewhere.
He's got to start walking.
We're gonna make some progress
somewhere
in some direction. Pick a direction, start walking.
I don't know. I'd pick east.
Yeah, east is a good idea.
If I were him.
Johnny, on the 22nd, we're going to see Price is skirmishing with federal forces closing in around him at Westport. Price plans to use Marmaduke, which is his cav.
The college?
I mean, maybe this is the college's name after this guy. I don't know. Use Marmaduke's forces to distract the Union forces south while he and his forces...
The comic?
Huh?
Marmaduke the comic?
Maybe.
Strip?
Yeah, the comic strip. Maybe it's that Marmaduke.
What the hell's happening?
I don't know, Johnny. Marmaduke's cav guy in the Confederacy. He's going to use the Marmaduke's cav to distract the Union forces so that Price's forces can catch a train to escape from being surrounded. That's the plan. It's a very bold plan that there's a lot of things that have to go in the correct motion.
Like a whole ass train has to arrive and
on
get
time
there and like
in a time of war. Yeah, there's a lot of things that it's not looking great. On the 23rd, it doesn't go well for him, and we get the Battle of Westport, Missouri, where he does not get on that train quite soon enough. It is the largest battle to take place in Missouri, with federal forces finally getting off their ass and engaging Price near Bush Creek at Westport. Price opens up the day by attacking Curtis's Federals underneath Blunt that were directly in front of his position. So he does the logical, like, oh, they're right there. We're just going to break out by fighting those guys where they're right there in front of us.
Yeah, I'm going to... here we come!
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, it works every time.
Excuse me. Their first charge is actually successful, but a subsequent federal countercharge delays the assault, and now we're like smashing at each other for 2 straight hours.
Yeah.
After 2 straight hours of smashing at each other,
hours, but
Price's forces are able to actually push back Curtis's forces. Okay.
Yeah.
Curtis then rallies his troops across Bush Creek, orders them to cross back across Bush Creek and hit Price's forces, and for another 2 hours, they're just smashing at each other.
Just smashing Bush Creek. Yeah.
Over Bush Creek. By mid-afternoon, while all this fighting is going on, down south, the Union cav is able to push back Marmaduke's forces, which knocks out the Confederate rear guard completely out of the battle. While all of that's going on...
Blows out of the rear guard. Just completely blew it
out.
Yeah,
they're in full retreat. So the rear is now open. So Price's rear is now open.
Blown out rear.
Cav is coming from the rear to hit Price.
No,
from
I
behind.
got it. Yeah, that.
Well, all
that
of that's
whole-
going on,
whole
Johnny.
rear's blown out.
Federal forces find a hole in the Confederate line at a small ravine, and they actually turn the Confederate left flank, sending them in full route. Now we have spit roasting. Price is in the middle. We got 2 Union forces on both sides.
Price straight in the middle, and then now
men are
both
just
sides are.
men are scattering. They're scattering everywhere.
We have men coming in from both angles.
By mid-afternoon, Price's forces are in full retreat. They are going towards Kansas, the Kansas-Missouri state line at Kansas City. Losses on both sides are estimated about 1,500-ish each. So not a substantial fight, but this is the largest battle in Missouri, and it, spoiler alert, is going to be the fourth wall break, the last major battle, and this is it. Missouri's effectively out of
So, all right, God, all right, this whole goddamn war, I've heard and I'm always surprised the casualties. I've heard, this army's coming against this army, and they did this, and they did that, and this, that, and the other, and they came here, and then all these people were running, all this stuff was happening.
And then it was like 1,500-ish people died total. Like, how do you have a
Yeah.
full route and only lose 1,500 people? Like, that's...
Or how do you have a full route and you only kill
1,500 people.
15? Like, you're doing poorly.
Yeah, this not...
all around.
Yeah, all around. Yeah, it's not great.
The numbers are bad, right? Those are bad.
Yeah, granted, your army size here at the Battle of Westport isn't what it is at, like, Gettysburg. You're not talking about,
No, I don't
a 60,000 man army
because
going up
all right,
this
I'm just gonna take an average over the course of this war, and holy fuck,
We sucked at this one.
What
Yeah, we sucked at this one.
Did anybody, has there been some sort of psychopath that has estimated the number of bullets used during the Civil War?
Like actual
Is there
bullets that hit
anybody
targets, it's got to be astronomically
versus like the number of casualties. Like, I want the number of shots versus casualties, because it has to be 0.00001%.
Well, so we kind of talked about that with the siege of Fort Sumter, like when we've been bombarding Fort Sumter over like the last 6 months, and there was like 1 month where we fired like
constant fire.
We fired like
shots.
3,000 shells at Fort Sumter and killed a dude. Like, awful.
Yeah. So even right there, you're 3,000 to 1.
Yeah, that's not great. That's not great.
As an estimation. And like over all of this, the pot shots we've had of the mini battles, everything else, I will bet it is a horrifically insignificant number. The percentage of people affected by a shot fired during the Civil War.
Unless you're one of those guys that actually got shot in the battle.
Hit with shrapnel from a shot that splintered off a tree, and I got a splinter in my arm. I'll bet it's the percentage has to be infinitesimally small.
I guarantee you're right there, Johnny. Of course, Johnny, like every good Union victory, we'll follow that up with no action on the 24th. As federal bickering prevents actual pursuit of Price's forces, who are just kind of slow walking away at this point. They're not even fucking running anymore. They're just like...
All right, so we spit roasted him.
Yeah, and then we let him get away.
And then ignored him.
Yeah.
And just forgot he existed and then walked away the next morning, do a walk of shame away from where we had just had our way with him and his troops.
Yeah.
We just let him do a walk of shame.
Walk of shame. Yep. We sure did.
Back home.
On the 25th, federal forces finally start pursuing Price and catch up to him south of Westport, Missouri. Pleasant's forces will assault Price's positions near Mine Creek, and 2 Confederate divisions are going to break. Their wagon train is badly damaged. They're in full rout mode. Shelby's men are going to come to aid of Price and briefly hold Confederate lines just long enough to save the remaining wagons near Little Osage River. Price's forces are actually forced to burn a lot of what's remaining of the wagons so that they don't fall into Union hands.
Uh-oh.
So about a third of his wagon train
That's
is just gone. It's just gone. You have to burn it, or it's been captured.
That's gotta suck, right? Like, as a human being carrying something out a route, like you're running back, you're pulling all this shit, you're dragging your help the
Imagine burning your own, like, a third of your property right now. Like,
and then you gotta burn it.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this thing that you've been carrying for 15, 30, 45, 100 miles,
Just
whatever
burn it.
the hell.
Yeah, burn it.
It's time to burn it.
Gotta burn it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Yes, I know. I do understand it is a valuable piece of artillery. However, we're all fucked.
Gotta burn it.
And they're coming in hot, so we have to burn it so they don't have it to also
use against us.
Do further damage upon, your brethren and whatnot.
Yep, Johnny. On the 26th.
Bad day.
On the 26th, Union forces underneath Pleasanton believe that he's pursued Price far enough, and he's going to call off. He's going my guys are done, and they start going home, which starts a pissing match between Curtis and Pleasanton. And Curtis goes, fine, you don't want to pursue, that's okay, but I'm going to, somebody's got to finish his job. He's beaten. He's in full route mode. It's shooting fish in a barrel, guy. Come on, let's end this. So Curtis actually continues the pursuit of Price.
Can we for president?
Yes, right. He's actually going to engage Price in several skirmishes along Glasgow and Albany. And the week, Johnny, it's going to end with hostilities resuming in the siege.
That's a very, very popular city. You should know how to pronounce
Glasgow or Albany?
Albany.
Yeah. I was thinking Alabany. I've been drinking, man. I don't know what you want from me.
Maybe it's Albany because I did Albany and called you an idiot.
It's Albany.
I was thinking of Albany, New York.
No, it's Albany, like Missouri, but yeah, Sure.
But it's still Albany. Okay, so it was still the same.
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
Same spelling.
Yep. Johnny, the week's going to end with hostilities.
That's fine. I know.
Resuming in the siege of Petersburg. Up to this point, it's mostly just been sniper fire back and forth. But on the 27th, Federals are going to assault Confederate positions near Burgess Mill, about 12 miles southwest of Petersburg City. The goal is to seize the South Side Rail Line. This is kind of an ongoing thing that they've been trying to do. Lack of cooperation with Union 2nd and 5th Corps leads to gains. But what the hell, Johnny? It only cost us 166 killed and 1,028 wounded and 564 missing.
There was a whole battle taking place and nobody did anything. Nobody gained anything. Nobody lost anything. They just bang, 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 bang. Some people died. Some people got sad.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the typical.
Weird.
Final note, though, of the week. Good news. Going to end on a good news. The Union Navy is going to send a torpedo and sneak it through the Roanoke River in North Carolina. They successfully hit and sink the Confederate ironclad Albemarle. Right. It's Albemarle, whatever the fuck that is. So we did something. We sink a Confederate. Yeah, we sink a Confederate. We sink a Confederate boat. It's got to be like their last one.
Which, again...
How do they still have a Navy left?
Again, I ask you, how are their boats?
I don't know, man. I think they just get
building them.
I think they get a dock, right? And then they just cut the dock off the mainland and then just kind of push it out there and put a cannon on it. And you're like, it's a boat.
They attach a gun to it.
Yeah, I think that's what...
we're going to float and shoot at anything we see that looks northern.
I think that's what a lot of their boats are. This one is actually an ironclad. This is actually a full, ironclad, actual, fighting ship. Yeah. It's gone. It's sunk. Boop.
Cool.
Sunk.
All right, one fewer of their endless supply of useless boats.
Yeah. That's it for this week in Civil War in Hindsight. If you enjoy Civil War in Hindsight, check out Historic Hindsight. We do all kinds of fun things. We've got shorts on everything. I've got rants about everything that makes me slightly perturbed. I've got informative shorts. If you want to know about how many people died in prison camps in the Civil War, I got you covered. We got long format videos on presidents and all the bad things they did, and random shit like emus going to war or with Australians for reasons.